Senior Life Journeys presents Carol Howell's Let's Talk Dementia, a podcast designed to help caregivers find knowledge, power, hope, and smiles in their dementia caregiving journey. Welcome to Let's Talk Dementia. Here is your host, best-selling author, Carol Howell.
Well, hello caregivers and welcome to Let's Talk Dementia. Today we're going to talk about a few tips to help you get your loved one ready for that big Christmas event and do it in a way that is respectful of who they are. You know, your loved one has spent their life brushing their teeth and brushing their hair and doing their grooming and cleaning themselves and picking out their clothes. Now all of a sudden you come along and you want to do it all for them. Well, that might not settle real well with them unless you were my mama, and my mama would let you do anything for her that kept her from having to do it for herself. She was a lazy little thing. But it did make caregiving a lot easier. But nonetheless, we need to have respect for our loved ones in regards to making sure we don't rob them of dignity while we are caring for them. Now, you want them to look good all the time. I know, I always did with my mama. You know, the earrings, the necklace. You can see I didn't take up after her. Rings on every finger, bracelets. I mean, she wanted the whole shebang. And her makeup. And her white diamonds cologne. But you especially want them to look good. If you're the primary caregiver and everybody's coming to your house for Christmas, you want mama or dad or your husband or your wife, whatever, to look good. One of the things you want to practice is that hand-over-hand method of caring for them. So it's time to brush their teeth. Now, these are techniques we're going to use every day of the year, not just at Christmas. But you can go up and start brushing their teeth, you know, sticking that toothbrush in their mouth and telling them to open up and open your mouth, separate your teeth, quit gagging. It is not going to work real good. But you really got to brush the teeth. We don't want cavities and teeth falling out. We don't want bad breath, for heaven's sakes. So we're going to put the toothpaste on that toothbrush. And while they hold it, which they're used to their hand coming to their mouth, they've been doing that their entire life. But you're going to put your hand on their hand and guide it. It's called hand over hand method. Let me do it this way. Hand over hand. So you're going to guide that toothbrush and help them brush like the bottom quadrant. Now, if you let them go after they've done it for a little bit, you might be surprised to see that they can do that without you guiding that hand. But they probably are not going to switch up and do that top quadrant or the bottom one on the other side. So while we've got the brush turned with the bristles down, let's go ahead and guide that hand over here to brush this side and then get them going and see if they will continue doing it. And if they don't move and brush that bottom quadrant all by their own, then you're going to hand over hand guide that quadrant or guide that brush across the quadrant. Then you're going to have to turn that brush so the bristles are up, and we're going to guide them to brush the top, see if they continue, let them do it if they can, if not, help them, and then move over, reminding them to spit and to rinse, keeping that toothbrush wet. You don't want them choking. Be careful about that. You probably don't brush all four quadrants without spitting, do you? So remember that when you're working with your loved one. You don't want their mouth filling up with that toothpaste and then getting down their throat, and then we gag, and that's a mess, isn't it? Well, you know, the same technique can be used when you are helping someone shave. If you're shaving, well, women shave too, folks. I mean, you know, I tell my husband, if I ever get debilitated and I can't take care of myself, if you don't shave me right through here, I'm going to look like a hairy monster, and I will not be happy with you. And my mama would do this. She would stick her tongue up in the corner, up under her upper lip, and make her lip stick out. That meant she needed her mustache shaved. And that's how she would tell us that towards the end. So again, that may be something they will let you do. Your husband might let you shave them. That is more likely to be something a gentleman will let us do for them because they probably had somebody else shave them in their life periodically, and that does not feel all that uncomfortable to have somebody come with them with a razor. But it might not feel good. So again, we're going to do hand over hand, putting that razor in their hand. Preferably an electric razor, because we're probably going to have a reduced chance of harming them with an electric razor, and we're going to guide their hand across their face doing that shaving. Now, if you are using a regular razor and you need the soap and the shaving cream and all that, be very careful, because you got to realize one quick jerk the wrong way and you've got a problem. So still that hand over hand, where if they jerk, you can pull away very quickly and protect them. hand over hand method is just a neat technique. Now, what if your loved one needs help eating? They won't feed themselves. You've got to feed them. Again, don't go at their face with a spoon or a fork. That does not feel good. Now, their mama did that when they were little. That was okay. But nobody's come at them with a fork or a spoon. That doesn't feel normal at all. But that muscle memory remembers their hand coming to their mouth. And that muscle memory can be activated, if that's the word we want to use, by putting your hand over their hand while they hold their spoon or they hold their fork, and helping to guide as they scoop up the food and they bring it to their mouth. And again, you might see after 2 or 3 bites that they get the hang of it again and they can feed themselves. But they may not, depending on how far along in this process called dementia that they are. So be aware of that. But it just is a respectful way to help them maintain their dignity while you care for them. When they're getting dressed, don't just button all the buttons and zip all the zippers and put the socks and the shoes on. See what they can do. Allow them to help button. And if it takes a little longer and you can possibly allow that time, let them do it. And what if they get through and their buttons are off? And we've got a buttonhole down here that doesn't have a button and a button up here that doesn't have a buttonhole. Well, you can just go right up and go, good gracious, Mama, you've got your buttons all messed up. Let me fix it. Or you can wait a little bit and go up to them and go, you know what? I messed up when I buttoned your shirt. I skipped a buttonhole. Good gracious, I must not have been paying attention. Let me fix my mistake. Just take responsibility for what you didn't do, but see, you're keeping their dignity intact. You're not making them feel less than because they didn't button their shirt right. Who can't button a shirt? They've been buttoning a shirt forever. We don't want to make them feel poorly about themselves because they missed a button. I mean, really, it's just not one of those things that we ever want to bring up to them. Maybe help them pull their pants across their feet and up to their hip, and then say, hey, Mom, can you pull your pants on up while I go get your hairbrush? And give her a chance to work those pants up to see, can she do it? And if she can't, then you come back and you say, you did a great job. Here, let me help you finish up, because we've got to get to the kitchen and check on the turkey. Some subject that will take their mind away from the fact that they weren't successful in getting dressed. Now you've taken them to another train of thought in their brain that they can then concentrate on. And speaking of helping with that turkey, if there are things that your loved one can do to help in the kitchen, please ask them to do it. Now, you got to think about if this is something they're going to want to do. I remember the example of helping, working with a group of ladies in a memory care community folding laundry. And we had towels and washcloths and baby clothes. And the only thing they wanted to fold was the baby clothes. They were not interested in the towels and the washcloth. That was boring. They wanted to fold the baby clothes. And of course, it took forever and 36 days, which was great because they had to rub them. And, oh, they're just so cute. Look how little that is. It was something for them to do. But your loved one may never, ever been interested in cooking. And so getting them in the kitchen, they may all of a sudden have an interest in it, and they may not too. So think about that. If you get them in and say, hey, Mom, could you put the biscuits in the bread basket? That's something that it can easily do. And they don't want to, well, they probably didn't do it in the past. But one way or the other, if they don't want to, we're not pushing folks to do stuff they don't want to do when they have dementia. That's setting yourself up for a big old problem, and it's not worth it. But I can tell you, my mom, up until about January, she passed in May, around January, February even, she would get in the kitchen with me in her group home on Sundays. I would cook there, and she would help me. And it was things like we had quinoa patties, frozen quinoa patties that I buy ready-made that are amazing. And all we had to do is put them on a pan. And I said, Mama, here, can you take these and line them up on the pan? And she would just work at it. And it was something she could do to help me. And I say that word help loosely, but it got her involved, and we could stand there and talk about things. I cherish those memories, and that's what I want you to have, is some of those happy memories to look back on. Well, we sit here just a few days before Christmas, and when I think about being in the kitchen with my mom, I think about her making turkey gravy. Now, I don't eat turkey and I don't eat meat, but growing up I did, and I can tell you one thing, my mama made the best turkey gravy on the planet. Oh, that sounds good to me, and I don't even want turkey. Love those memories of Mama. There she is in the background. a special shout out and words of comfort and sending of my heart to those who have also lost their loved ones in this year. And I have a lady that attended our very first Vera's Caregivers Retreat whose mama passed away just yesterday or last night, I believe. And my heart is with her and with each of you, because I know a lot of you have lost a loved one, and you too will be having your first Christmas without them. My heart hears you. Blessings and smiles on your day.
Let's Talk Dementia would like to thank our sponsors, National Association of Veterans and Families. You can reach them at 800-352-2919, on the internet at www.navf.org. They speak veterans so you don't have to, and you tell them Carol sent you when you call to inquire about benefits for the veteran, the spouse of the veteran, or both. Editor Beth. You can find Ms. Beth Crosby at editorbeth.com. She is amazing at looking at what you've written and making sure it represents you well. Find her at www.editorbeth.com. And HD Imports, located on Flint Street Extension in Rock Hill, South Carolina. That's York County. 803-985-0985. They are there for the repair and maintenance of your Honda, Hyundai, Toyota, Kia. Tell them Carol sent you.
Thanks for joining us today for Carol Howell's Let's Talk Dementia. To learn more about dementia, we recommend Carol's best-selling book, also titled Let's Talk Dementia. It's available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle versions. Be sure to like Let's Talk Dementia on Facebook and leave us a kind word of review on iTunes. Remember, knowledge brings power. Power brings hope. Hope brings smiles. And we all need more smiles. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll be right here when you come back to Let's Talk Dementia.